welcome back to another episode of Grassroots Racer. This week I have the pleasure of speaking to someone who's not only done a bit of racing during his time in motorsport, but also runs a very successful Formula Vee team, where he helps and nurtures a lot of up and young coming drivers. To find out more, welcome Greg Beacham.
Thanks, Ayrton.
Hi Greg, and how are you going tonight?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I'm doing excellent and I can't wait to chat to you. So, just before we talk about motorsport though, I have heard that you're bit into steam engines, if that's correct?
Yes, I build steam engines and boilers and things like that. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I'm also a teacher. I still do a bit of part-time teaching. But yeah, I build steam engines. I've just finished one with the help of my grandson, trying to get them involved in a little bit in it so they know a little bit about engineering instead of being in front of an iPad or a computer all day.
Yeah, he's a very good go-karter. I've seen a lot of his stuff. So does he get right on the tools, does he?
Yeah, he does. Drew raced with, we raced together. And Drew was pretty successful in the Formula Vee, and Drew stopped racing in 2006. I went overseas in 2007. It was the only time we had a break from the racing, 23 years racing Formula Vees. And we had the team, he stepped away from the team, we downsized, and now he's got the two boys racing, Caden and Jensen. And yes, Caden gets out there and Drew's very particular about cleanliness of the car and the trailer and everything like that. So he's out there cleaning and changing sprockets and motors and God knows what else. Jensen, not so much now because he's still a little bit young, but yeah, he's following in his dad's footsteps, which I taught his dad.
Mm-hmm. But let's start off on how you first got into motorsport.
Oh, now we're going back 40 years plus. Started off doing rallying. Mark 1 Cortina. I've always been a Mark 1 Cortina and Escort person, but we had a Mark 1 and we also had the Datsun 1600. And then I've got out of that and I went into karts, believe it or not. I think it was 1982 or about 1982 that I finished. I did karts for about 6 or 7 years. Moved down to Gippsland. There was a car club here. Joined that car club. I had a GT Cortina, which I raced under the Gippsland Car Club. Even did the Thunderdome in it, believe it or not. That was when they used to have the, they used to run the Calderers, take the fence out, and then they go onto the Thunderdome, round the Thunderdome, then back onto Calder. Back in those days, yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Sold that and got a Formula Libra. And ran a Formula Libra, Formula 2 for some years. And then I got to the point where Drew was old enough to start racing, bought our first Formula Vee from over Western Australia. And that's it.
Yeah. I was talking to someone who he was racing, I think the Porsche 911, and he was doing the Calder Park when they used to do the endurance races there, and they would do like the oval and then they'd come back onto the circuit.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, they opened up the fence just past the grandstand, and you'd turn left to go onto the track. You'd go the opposite way than what the NASCARs went, and you go around the oval, and next door to where you went on, the exit was next door, so you come back on again on the track again. Yeah. Interesting. Used to get nearly airborne coming back onto the track. Yes. And there's a big bump over on the back of the back of the Calder of the Thunderdome, and every time I hit it in the Cortina, it bottomed out and moved me about a metre to the left.
Jeez.
That was interesting.
Did many people like spin in front of you and stuff because of the bump?
A lot. Yeah, it was not really. The main was coming back onto the track. Right, that was one of the big things that a lot of people sort of got themselves a bit crossed up there. But I don't. It's just a shame that the whole thing is not going again. That's only using it for drags, I think, probably.
Yeah, and I think there might be a skid pad. I'm not too sure. But,
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I haven't been there for years. That was our first track that we actually raced a Formula Vee that we bought from Western Australia on. That was Drew's first race, was at on the Calder.
Yeah, Calder Park's a great circuit. You ever race at tracks like Winton and
Yep.
Sandown?
Sandown, Winton, Phillip Island. Mainly Victoria when I was racing. Yeah. But of course, when Drew started and then we got the other cars, I think the only place we haven't been is Western Australia and Darwin. But every other track I've been to and raced at in Australia.
Yeah.
And that includes Bathurst as well, because they did have the V's at Bathurst. And in the early days, they actually televised the V's at Bathurst. They actually put the Formula V's on there one year, and the Elliott Mark II, which was owned by Frank Hare, who is a Bendigo fella, he won it. And if you go onto YouTube, it's actually, the video is on YouTube. And the Elliott, which now belongs to, I sold it to Reef, and then they've sold it to, what's his name? It's got the old V8 supercar, oh, not the old, what's the oldest? What's his name again? And then it's been sold again to, I think the guy's name's Greg Cooper, I'm not sure. Yeah, but it's still around. It's still going, yeah. That is a very famous car. That's the only car that's won 5 Australian titles.
One of my recent episodes, as he actually got to drive it when Frank was, sort of like renting it out almost, like when he was letting people drive it.
That Lee Partridge?
Yeah, Lee Partridge.
Yeah.
Lee Partridge got to drive it, yeah.
That's right, yeah, I know Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to drive it. Beautiful little car to drive.
Did you and Drew ever race together, or did you just sort of
No. I when he started, like, he had the Escort, and then he raced that until back then you had to be 16 to get your track license. So he ran that till he was 16, and as soon as he was 16, he said, "Dad, I want a Formula V." Oh, all right then. Well, we can't have 2 race cars. And I said, "We can't afford that." And I'm not racing because he was racing. And next thing I know, fortunately, he's bought a Danny Wallace's Formula V from Western Australia. I went, oh, righto. And that was a pretty competitive car in Western Australia, just about won everything over there. And that car is still going, and it's in Tasmania, and Adam Pruer owns that car now, who also runs in the E Series. Yeah, Adam's got that.
Yeah, I've raced with Adam before. You race with a lot of people in the E Series who are actual racers. When Drew started racing, is that like Formula V? Is that sort of when you created the Beacham Racing team?
Not then. When he finished in 2006, that's when we started the Beacham Racing. That's when I started to build the later model chasers. What was going to be for Drew, and then we had Matt Stubbs' father come up to us and say, "You lease that out to us," and Matt wants to run it. So, and that's the car that what's name's got now. Charlie's got. So yeah, that's when it all started. One stage there was 4 cars all up. One was a satellite car. There's a good picture of it all with the big trailer and everything. And I think between about 12 or 14 people involved in one stage. Pretty busy.
Yeah. I know that you like to mentor young drivers and teach them your tricks that you've learned racing for a long time. What do you...
I know about the tricks. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, what do you like most about helping new drivers and starting them out in a good category like Formula V?
Yeah, I had a go a little while ago with a couple of young guys, and they wouldn't listen, right? And they thought young 14, 15-year-olds, they thought they knew everything, and I thought, well, I'm not interested. And then Reef came along. They bought the Elliott off me, and his dad said to me, "Would you, give us a bit of a hand?" I said, "No worries." I'll tell you a funny little story about Reef. I don't know whether he's going to be watching this or not, but anyway, we took the Elliott up to the Winton. or before that, he'd come to my place to get the car and sit in it and make sure the seat was right and everything. And he grabbed hold of the gear stick and said, "What's this?" I went, "Oh, God. Yeah, this changes gears." And the pedals had 4 pedals in it, and that really totally confusing because he's only used to 2. Anyway, I went to Winton, and I explained to him to be careful, like it's an open wheel. It's not like your go-kart, you just shuffle. And first of all, he nearly ran over his dad. Then he nearly took out a roller door. We didn't get on the track at this stage. And then they got a fire truck up there, and he cleaned up the bloody fire truck. I'm going, God, what have I let myself in for? His first run out in the track, I watched him, and by the end of the day, I turned around to his dad and said, "I think we've got a champion." Now, you ask me what I do with him. Well, one of the key things is they got to listen. If they don't listen, I'm not interested. It's simple as that, right? Listen, give me as much feedback as you can, and now he still listens to me. Because he's still running the Formula Vee under Beacham Racing. He gives me lots and lots of feedback, right? And so I thought, okay, yeah. And I say no more. Look where he is now. He runs this weekend at Sydney Motorsport Park, Island Magic. Remembering, he's the youngest ever to win Island Magic, and he's won it 2 times in a row. If he wins it 3 times in a row, no one's done that before in the history of Formula Vees. Then he's off to Bathurst. Then I did a bit of work with Claudia Lennox, and she actually ran one of my cars, help her out a little bit. And I've been working with them. I'm a bit picky who I take, and of course now I'm going to be working a bit with Charlie, who's up and young. As I said, the key things is to listen, right, and give feedback and have a good attitude.
Yeah.
You haven't got that? See you later, alligator.
Yeah, and like now Reefs Super is doing Super 3. He's raced at Bathurst in the Super 3. He's raced at Townsville, and he's going to Eastern Creek. Are you really proud of him for achieving what he has, knowing that you've been there to help?
If it was a better word than proud, I'd use it, but there isn't. Yes. And again, he's a young fellow that listens, and he's very, very good at adapting to a new track, whether it be with the V8 or whether it be with the V. Like when we went to Wakefield, never seen it before till Thursday afternoon. By Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon racing, he was up with the 2 top drivers in Australia, harassing them. But yeah, he's done pretty well. I'm pretty proud, extremely proud. Yeah.
So,
I think anyone would.
Yeah, I think Reef's done a good job from when I, first met him at the go-kart track. You said though when he first started and he jumped in the Elliott, there was 4 pedals. Was there 4 pedals, or was that a bit of a...
Okay, the 4 pedals is the one on the far left was a stay, where Frank used to use it for a stay. Then of course you got your clutch, your brake and your throttle, yeah. And he looked down and said, "There's 4 pedals there." And I said, "Oh yeah. That's one." I told him what they were all for, and he just looked at me and went, "Oh."
Yeah. So was that the line locker, was it?
No. It's just a stay when you're going around corners and that, just so that your left foot's not flopping around all over the place. You put your foot on this imitation pedal. It was just solid. It was just to keep you steady, yeah. It's the only car I know that's got that. Yeah. Oh, there might be others out there, but there's only one I knew that had it. Yeah. Did confuse a couple of people when they got it. There's 4 pedals. I did explain to one person that it's a double clutch. You use the left-hand one to take off, and then the next one you're changing gears while you're racing. Oh, God.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure mine only has 3, so that's...
It's right now.
Clutch, brake, accelerator. When I first went to Winton, it was a really good experience. Have you ever raced around Winton yourself?
Yep, sure have. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a nice little tight track.
Yeah.
It didn't have the extension then, no.
Oh, so it didn't, yeah.
No, it's the one they cut across. They use for what they use for the trucks. Yeah, we didn't have that one down the back. That was put in for the V8s.
Yeah. Did you have you ever been to I think when they had it was the Winton 24-hour? Did you ever go to that?
Yes, I managed the whole team. It was
Yeah.
with the Gippsland Car Club. We took 6 cars up and ran the 24-hour. I tell you what, managing a 24-hour, that is just absolutely. I was just dead at the end. I did manage to get a couple of hours sleep, but that was about it. Anyway, something else I did that you might be interested in. In 2007, I went to Europe, and that's a lot of other countries too. And my wife's cousin was the manager of Zandvoort.
Zandvoort?
Wow. Yeah, of Zandvoort, the maintenance. And we were staying at her cousin's place. I think he was the cousin, some relation anyway. And they said to me, would you like to go across to Zandvoort, have a look? I went, yeah, well, why would you not? So I went across there, and I was fortunate enough to have a tour of the joint. And then this was on a Wednesday, I believe. There was about 130 cars practicing, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, you name it.
Yeah.
Formula Fords. There was they had the mini series, and so he actually stopped everyone on around and took me around his four-wheel drive around the track, which was pretty. I was pretty happy about that, just to drive around the thing and have a look, because it's in the sand dunes on the beach there. And remember, it was a Formula One track. Oh wow, yeah, it's going to be a Formula One track, isn't it?
Mm.
And then he said to me, "I've got a surprise for you." Went and met 2 guys. One was Jan Burt, 24-hour Porsche man. The other one was Jos Verstappen. They stuck me in a GT3 Porsche and gave me 6 laps around Zandvoort in the GT3 by myself. I thought I was just going on as a passenger. No, you're driving. Off you go. See you later. There we go. I was ready just to come home after that.
So yeah. So some random guy called Jos Verstappen asked you to drive a GT3?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he sat there and said, they got a little cafe and that in the middle there, and he just talked to me about it, and said, well, you won't get into 7th gear at the end of the straight, only the top drivers do. And he was right. It was bad enough in 6th gear. That was bloody fast enough. And so, yeah, him and Jan both, worded me up what to do, what not to do. They followed me in 2 other cars. They followed me around as I went around.
Yeah. And for anyone who doesn't know, Jos Verstappen is an ex-Formula One driver and the father of Max Verstappen.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But coming back to Australia, now we're speaking, Beacham Racing has won national championships and state championships. Do you ever look back and go, oh, wow, the memories, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Reef has given me a Victorian championship. He will probably win the Formula Vee one. He's given me that, so that's goal number 1. Another one of the goals was to get him into the V8s. That's goal number 2. I've got 1 more goal left. I want him to win an Australian title. Mm-hmm. So that's the 3rd goal, and that'll happen next year, because I believe it's going to be at Winton next year. At this stage, that's what I've been told. Yeah, so that will make 4 national titles. Oh, and Ken, got to remember Ken Philby in the 1200s won the national series in 2014. Yeah, so he did pretty well.
So the last couple of years, we've had a bit of trouble with the COVID-19 pandemic. What are you looking forward to with the team in 2022?
Working with Reef, of course, and the goal is to work up to win a national title. The other thing is to work with Charlie as much as I can. Remember when Claudia ran the car, we made it an all-girl team. With Claudia, she had 2 girls crewing for her, and she was driving, although we did fix the front end when she had a little altercation with the wall. But anyway, won't talk about that. So that's the plan, really. And I've got, who else asked me? Someone else asked me what I give them a bit of advice. I forget who it was. You.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get your car going, and I'll might have a little bit of a word to you.
Yeah.
And see how we go. And see if we can get I'm a bit busy with cars at the moment, but yeah, you get going, and I'm quite happy to do a couple of test days or something with you, and maybe see what we can do with you.
I'm really excited to get the Formula Vee going and come out and see you in person. We haven't seen each other in a little while now. I think the last time we saw each other in person was February.
Yeah, that was our last run with Filippin. Yeah.
And
it's been a while.
I just got a message from Reef McCarthy, so just want to let you guys know that he is racing at Eastern Creek, and he's put all of his supporters on his bonnet, and I happen to be one of them. So thanks, Reef. And
so am I, and my grandsons.
Yeah. So we all wish Reef the best of luck, and he's going to win the round. So stay tuned for that.
Let's hope so. And he's got his new motor in, so all going well. And hope he does well. It won't take him long to learn the track. He's very, very good at that. Yeah. You only got to look at the start of the year when he went to Bathurst. I'm going, Bathurst, first run ever in a V8, like Super 3, and he's at Bathurst. And I'm going, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Well,
that move into Skyline that he pulled was pretty good.
He not only did it once, he did it several times. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to Garth, and he was saying that. Yeah, he'd done it a few times.
So we've talked about Reef, starting young, and you've helped him out. What would you say to someone who's starting out in Formula Vee or Formula Ford? Someone sort of like me, what advice would you give to them?
Before anyone starts with my cars or anything, the two things I say to them is you've got to have two things, right? You've got to be comfortable in the car before you go anywhere and do anything, and you've got to have confidence in the car. So there's your two things. Then I would say to them, whoever's looking after you and mentoring, listen very, very carefully, particularly if they know what they're talking about. Listen to other people talking, take the cream of what they're saying to you. But you really need just one person looking after you. You can listen to other people and take notes on that and work with that guy. It's just like they do with the V8 supercars. They have an engineer, and that's who they work with, although they've got a lot of other people that they use. And the same with the V's. And so listen, all right, have a good attitude, give good feedback if can, but very lucky with some of the later model cars that we can plug their laptops in and see what's going on, and we can use that to help them. And probably the last thing would be, and I've told everyone that races with me, and I tell my grandsons too, have fun.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, go and find something else to do.
Yeah. There's no night where I don't think about racing, to be honest, Greg. And I always enjoy getting in the car, even on the bad weekends. It's always good to know that I was in the car racing.
Yeah, you got to take and you got to take the good with the bad. You'll have bad weekends. I'm sure Charlie probably will too. I know Reef had a couple of bad weekends. Not many though, I must admit. Not many bad weekends. Claudia had one bad one there, but that's right. That's road racing. If you go into motor racing and you think you're not going to have a crash, well, you're dreaming, because it may not be your fault. It could be someone else's. But motor racing is relative dangerous. Look at my grandson Jensen at Puckapunyal in practice. Ended up at Airworth Hospital. He's okay now.
Yeah.
He's keen as mustard to get back in, but we'll have to buy him a new car, won't we? Yeah, the other one's broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, the helmet, the Liat brace. I forget what else Drew said, but yeah. And it was just practice, because he's got a practice license. He doesn't start racing until March. Yeah, cart, he rolled it, and the cart went up in the air and come down and landed on him.
Well, that is really bad, but he's got a lot of passion to hop straight back into the car. And I just want to say, Greg, thanks for speaking to me tonight.
That's right.
Awesome hearing about your passion, and It's been great for you to being able to, share your experiences and help other drivers through driver development and the mentoring that you do. I hope Beacham Racing continues its success for many years to come, and Reef getting those goals that you want him to get. And, good luck to Reef this weekend. And remember, everyone, if you're out on track, drive fast and take chances. Thanks again, Greg.
Yeah, thanks. Look, Beacham Racing will keep going, may not be with me, because certainly the car that O2 Sabre I got now, I have given that to Caden, and he knows at 14 he's going to get that car. But yeah, Drew will keep the Beacham Racing going. I'll be too old. Anyhow, it's very nice to speak to you, and thank you very much for giving me your time to have a talk to you on your show.
Thank you so much, Greg.
Bye. See you later.